Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to draw a space landscape. Start by turning your paper the elephant way. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to draw a horizon line, which is the line that separates the sky from the ground. In this picture, I'm going to have more sky and less ground, so I'm moving the ground down the horizon line, so it's not exactly in the center. It's down below that a little bit. I made it kind of crooked and rocky looking. You can make yours look however you like. So up in the sky, we're going to kind of create a spiral. We're going to create something that is big as it's close to us, and it looks like it's disappearing. It's getting smaller in the distance. So we're going to start with just a little shape. So I'm going to do a little circle. It's small. Now I want to make it look like there's a spiral, and that's going to go whichever direction. So I'm going to go up and start to go around. So imagining this line here. I'm going to start over there, and what I want to do is make the same shape but make it a little bit bigger. Again, I'm imagining this spiral coming around. Put another one maybe there. It's going to get a little bit bigger. I'm going to keep going around and stop a little ways and draw a bigger one. So if you draw, right now I'm just kind of lightly drawing a line to connect those. I'm going to jump over my land there. Keep going. I'm going to make another one. This time it's even bigger. It should look like things are spiraling out into space and getting smaller. I went off the top of my paper. That's okay. And even go bigger. So I'm going to make this into sort of like a semicircle. It's going to be round at the top, and I'm going to make it flat at the bottom. It's easier to turn your paper, I think, to continue drawing these. We're just drawing over top of the ovals that we made. So this one, I just got to decide which way is the top and which way is the bottom. So I'm going to make the bottom facing the side of the paper. This one, I'm going to make the bottom at the bottom of the paper. We want it to look like they're kind of turning in space. So I'm turning this one, going to make it go that way. So you can turn yours whichever you like, whichever way you like. Now I'm going to erase the part that's underneath or maybe inside of those, just to kind of make it look a little neater. I'm also getting rid of that spiral that I drew. Okay, we're going to do some details, so I'm going to zoom in so you can see better. I'm starting a rectangular shape. It's kind of rounded on the edges, and it overlaps our first shape. And I'm going to draw this kind of, I don't know, oval shape on the back. And these are going to become legs. Going to erase the line that's on the inside, and that guy's pretty much done. Now I'm going to turn my paper so that the flat part's at the bottom when I draw. This guy's going to be facing the other direction. I made his legs a little bit longer there. Okay, I'm going to turn my paper and I'm going to finish the rest of these. I'm going to kind of do a little fast forward here. So you can pause it if you need to, but that way you don't have to watch each one. So if you saw that, I added another little tiny guy in the very center. If you've got some space, you can do that. And then I'm going to connect all of these guys by a dashed or a broken line. That way you can kind of see how they spiral out into the distance. So just connect them with a line. Okay, we're going to go back to the ground, our foreground, the things that are in the front. So we've got our ground down here. I've got my horizon line, and I'm going to draw another line that is irregular. So it's not perfectly straight across, but it's going to go kind of close to my horizon line. So I'm just drawing another line across there. It'll give us kind of some layers in the front. Now I'm going to draw some lines here that are going to be sort of like a zigzag. It's going to go out towards the middle of the page. It's going to come back. I made like a skinny point there. And then I'm going to come back out, but not as far as the first one. And then I'm going to bring this down off the bottom of my page. I'm going to repeat the same thing to the other side. Make your line come out all the way, almost all the way. Make a little point, and I'm just kind of making it again like a zigzag, but the zigzag's flat. I'm going straight across, straight back, and then eventually down off the bottom of the page. This is going to create a section that looks like a big crevice or sort of like a cliff. So we're going to make this look three-dimensional by drawing some lines. The lines that we draw have to be vertical, straight up and down. So I'm going to pick the points of my zigzag and just draw a line that goes straight down. We can imagine this goes into a super deep hole. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to take the points. Okay. Okay. I'm going to do a couple smaller ones that are kind of in between. Even though they're not on the points of the zigzag, I'm just adding them in. It makes it look like it has more texture. Almost like it was carved out. Okay. So the space I just showed you is the hole, okay? There's nothing there. So I'm adding more of these vertical lines kind of in that space along the back. That just makes it look deep. Now we're moving to our background. We worked on our foreground where the cliff is. The background has got some rocky, not rocky mountains, but some big, tall, rocky shapes, let's say. And I'm going to overlap them. So this guy's right there. I'm going to put another one that's kind of behind it. I'm going to put it so it has lots of points. It just looks interesting back there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some places that will give it depth. So it's sort of like part of the rock that's cut out or facing a different direction. So this part that I just drew, sort of like this triangle shape, would be in a shadow because part of it is facing away from where the light is. So I just kind of shaded in there. I'm going to do that a couple more times here and there. Just don't make them perfectly straight. Let them be kind of wiggly. And then I'm just using lines as a way to kind of shade them in. And you'll see that it, again, makes it look like there's more depth. So we've got things closer to us and further away instead of everything looking really flat. So the last thing that we're going to add is we're going to add a really large planet, and it's going to be in the sky. I want it to go behind those rocks, so I just made a curved shape. I'm going to give it a little bit of like some swirly lines, like when you see those pictures of planets, the satellite pictures from outer space. They have these cool designs on them. And I'm just kind of going behind my guys and behind my rock. Gonna add another one. Gonna make this one look kind of like the Earth. If you do that, then it's obvious your picture is not supposed to be taking place on Earth, but it certainly could be if that's how you want to draw yours. And this is going to be about it. I'm going to add a little guy here in the front that's bigger. Again, trying to show depth, so this guy's a lot bigger because he's closer to us. What we're going to do then is, after you finish this up, I want to have you just save it, bring it to school with you next week because we will work on them in school, and we'll talk about coloring and shading and all of that. So don't do anything else with it. If we're not in school next week, look for another video and I will show you how to finish it that way. Thanks guys. Have a good week.